Now we'll talk about checkmate, check, castling, and forks, material, points, major pieces. The two most popular moves in chess are either d4 or e4. These are d4. This is the black one is d4, and this one's e4. Welcome back to Justin and Catherine's Chinese class. Today we're gonna teach you how to play a chess. Hello, I'm Justin. And today we're gonna teach you how to play chess.
Okay,
chess is a competitive game based on tactics and strategies. While other games like a calming and puzzle IQ game like this one, where you like connect and make like a whole, or like a competitive game like Mexican dominoes.
Oh, okay.
So
好，那我们一起来。
we'll first show you the types of boards. First of one is a tournament board. They have pieces that you can set up with no coordinates.
Okay.
The second is a coordinate board. Okay, it's like a chessboard but with coordinates. If you already learned about coordinates, it goes from x-axis and y-axis. Like let's say it goes to A to H and then it coordinates on 1 to 8. So like you can go E8. So
Okay.
oh, we'll just put this back real quick. Start recording. Yeah, put back. I'll teach you how to set up with the tournament board and then the coordinate board.
Okay.
Okay, for the tournament, you can do like any side, this side, that, like this. It's like black and white. So pieces in chess are coordinated by black and white. White always goes first.
Oh, white always goes first.
Yeah.
就是白色的最先是吗？
Okay. I will show you how to set it up. You can set it whatever like color you prefer first. If you win, you get white. If you lose, you get black.
Okay.
So first, the horses. These are called horses.
那是马。
Each set gets 2 horses. So they both go like right here. You can face them like this, this, this.
任何方向都可以，是不是？
Yeah. And these are pawns. These aren't known. They're like so low on points. They're like not called pieces. They're just like you just call them pawns.
Okay.
So they go on this file, the 7th ranked, if other people call it. So there's 8 pawns in total. The chessboard has 8 by 8, which is 64 squares per area. So they set up the pawns like this. There's a lot of pawns formations you can make. And this is the queen and king.
就是国王和王后是吗？
Yeah. The king always goes on the black square, and the queen always goes on the white square. I don't know why.
哪一个？国王要放哪里？
The king goes on the black square, and the queen goes on the white square.
就国王要放在那个深色，就是那个黑色的部分。
And these are called bishops. They travel in diagonals. Okay. The black bishop goes next to the queen. Since it's like, yeah. And then the white bishop goes next to the king.
Okay.
Opposite colors, I guess. And these are rooks. They travel like in straight lines.
它可以到处跑是吗？
Yeah. Each set has 2 rooks. They're the second most powerful pieces. And for black, you just set up the same thing.
黑色也是同样的摆法，对不对？
Yep. They have all the same pieces.
好，他们有同样的。
But there's only one difference. White always goes first.
然后那个白色的一直就是最先走。
Okay. So you cannot. So now we'll teach you how they move. Like, okay, first off with pawns.
贾斯汀现在教你怎么走动，是不是？
first, pawns can move like 2 squares, like these.
它可以走2步。
1, 2. And then, okay, and then when you move, your opponent can move. And you can move any pawn on the 7th rank, or known as this rank right there. You can like move 1, move 2, and move any single pawn you want that you desire.
就是每一次都可以走2步，是不是？
Yeah. Actually, with one more thing. Once you like move 2 or 1, once you move outside of the home row, when you move 2, you only can move 1 forward. Because they don't want like getting promotions easy.
什么情况下它只能走1步呢？
So when you like get out of the home row, this is the home row right here, the pawns. And then if you want to move your pawn forward, you can't, like it can't move 2 because it's not in the home row. So like, let's say I'm white and they move a pawn out, Okay, for your next move, since bishops can travel in diagonals, black bishops use like the long and black diagonals. So let's say like they like this long because it's like outpost, I guess. But bishops can't like go over pawns. You have to move the pawn out. And the same with the white bishops. They just travel in white diagonals instead of black. No difference. Now horses are like something special. They're pretty much unique pieces and new pieces. So like, they can like jump over pieces. And fun fact, did you know only a horse can kill the queen safely?
真的吗？
Yeah. They're the most known pieces for forking. Forking is like 2 pieces and then you have to pick one and then sacrifice the other. Okay, now the rooks like travel and like on the like these. Like they can travel as far as they want, but they can't like travel like horses, bishops, or pawn. Actually, they can travel like pawns, but yeah. Now, for the two most popular moves in chess are either d4 or e4. These are d4. The black one is d4, and this one's e4. If you're like a beginner, you should start with e4 because it lets out and prepares a castling. If you know how like handle like d4 properly, it's usually starting square. You get your bishop out and stuff, and yeah. Or like you can use like other ones, like let's say this one right here. You can do f5 or like start off with horses. You can do anything you want that makes you feel more comfortable. Now we'll talk about openings. Openings are like when you move out a pawn and then you move a few specific openings. My favorite is the Rolly Lopez opening or the Queen's Gambit. First, you have to move this piece, and then the other white and black moves this piece, and then you move this piece, and then black moves this piece, and then you do this. Sometimes they'll like protect the pawns. No, sometimes they'll like attack the pawn like this, or they will like attack the bishop, like taking it away and move back there, boom, into a bad position for the bishop. The second, and there's opening like the bird opening, the prick opening, the English opening, and King's Gambit, and much more that can be invented or discovered. But okay, now we'll talk about checkmate, check, castling, and forks, material, points, major pieces.
Okay.
So we're just gonna clean this board up real quick. Okay, first off, we'll start off with the material. Pawns, since we know a few minutes ago, pawns aren't known as pieces. We just call them pawns because they're like weak. They're like, but the only thing pawns are like cool for like are forks or promotions. Once your pawn gets over all the way to here, it gets to be a queen. And the queen can move anywhere it wants. This, 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 this. And did you know if you put 4 queens right here, it covers the whole entire board? It's just like just checkmate. But okay, you can have as much queens as you want, at least if you have any pawns. Now, time for forks. Let's say you have 2 valuable pieces, like the rook and the queen. But as we talked about, the horse can kill the queen or like any single piece safely. So if let's say this horse is threatening the rook or this queen. Actually, I use a different piece. Or this king. This is like a beginners, like it usually starts off like this. But some people know how to like handle it and ignore it. They usually castle so they don't like lose their rook or anything. Like, and then if it's their king, the king's in check, and they have to move their king or up, and then the other person gets the more valuable piece just for free. Now, time for checks. If you're in check, like since we know bishops can move in diagonals like this long in diagonals. If like this bishop is threatening this king, which is worth the whole game, the king has to move no matter what, or they can resign, but the king has to move no matter what if they're in check. Time for checkmates. So there's a lot of different varieties of checkmates, like king and rook checkmate is set up like this. King and rook checkmate set up like this. Or queen and king checkmate. And did you know you can only use a queen or a rook with a king to checkmate? It's very rare to checkmate with one piece. Like with a bishop, it's really rare to checkmate with one piece, like a bishop or a horse checkmate with one piece. Checkmate is when you cannot escape. Like let's say the king can move anywhere in this little box. Like that. But if the king is in checkmate, like this, the king cannot kill his own pieces. So if this is like this, the queen is threatening the king, and the king cannot kill his own pieces to escape. That is checkmate. If the king moves forward, the queen can eat the king. So that no longer the king has no way to escape. Well, there's more checkmate varieties. We're just teaching you like the basics. Now, time for coordinates.
还有什么不一样吗？
What is different? Well, this is wood. Well, what is different is coordinates have a set of 8 letters and 8 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the 8th letter of the alphabet.
那我刚刚看一下那个大的看看。
This one does not have it because it's a tournament one. Or a family classic.
Oh, okay.
It's like a classic one. So now for this one. Black always gets to be A to H. A gets this 8 and 7th rank. But white gets the 2nd rank and the 1st rank. That's their home rows. So let's say black's pieces are on this rank and white's pieces are these. So you set it up the same way and you play it the same way. The only difference is it's like I don't know how to explain this, but it's like a more cool way. So you could like read books and then it tells you what moves and then you can move it. Or you can blind and know even. Okay, but enough of that. Okay. Now, time for more cool stuff. Interesting stuff. Now we'll tell you the value of these. Each and every piece has a value, and every single piece is worth something. Well, you probably know a pawn is worth the least because it doesn't do anything special. It just moves forward 2, home row 2, and their pawns are worth 1 point. Kill one pawn, you earn 1 point. Queens, I'll set these up real quick. Okay, then. This is starting from least to greatest. So, okay, so first the pawn is worth 1. It's worth 1 pawn, 1 point. The horse is worth 3 points. The bishop is also worth 3 points, and a little more since it can like travel farther. The rook is worth 5 points because it like helps in checkmates, and the queen is worth 9 points because it's the most value.
Oh, queen 有9个积分呢。
Yeah, it can control
9分呢。
Yeah, in one square, in the middle square, it can control more. It can control about 16 squares, which is a lot. And while a rook can only control 8 squares, a bishop can only control 8 squares, and a horse can only control 2 squares, or 8 squares, and a pawn can only control 2 squares. The queen is the most valuable because it controls 16 squares.
The king 呢?
Oh, why are you wondering why the king isn't in here? Because the king is worth the whole game. If the king gets checkmated, you just lose. No matter how much pieces.
King 有多少分?
Like, let's say infinite. Infinite, the whole game. Okay, now. Wait. No, now, we'll do something more cooler. Wait, I forgot to mention about one more thing. There's also a thing called X-ray. Let's say it's like this position. Like, let's say there's a black bishop threatening the king. So if the queen is behind, this will have to move out of the way, and it'll win the queen for free. And the queen is worth 9 points. It can almost work with any piece. The only pieces that X-raying can't work with are horses and pawns. Pawns cannot X-ray. Because if it X-rays like this, a black pawn threatening a white king, then it says protected too. Protected. Okay, Okay, if it's X-raying like this, the king has to move out of the way, but the pawn cannot kill the rook. And same with the queen, the horse. The horse, if they check, they have to move out of the way, and they cannot earn the rook for free. Or get captured. Okay, now we'll talk about tactics and strategies. Let's first talk about pawn structures and openings. How to do them. Okay, pawn structures can be like many structures that provide support for the rest of the team. It gives you like an active, putting a piece active. Let's do a little pawn here. Okay, we're getting piece activated. Pawns cover the major pieces. These are called major pieces. I forgot what these are called, but they cover. So you have to open the pawn up. The pawns have specific structure for protecting these pieces. Because without the pawns, they could just like trade off rooks or trade off queens. It would be chaotic without pawns. Pawns are like the main thing. Not the main thing, but support for the other pieces. Pawns can protect 2 pieces at once, like these. A pawn controls 1 piece. But the dangers about this, like let's say if there's a queen in the middle, the pawn can only protect 1. And the queen just can kill the pawns. So, the basic pawn structure is having control of mid. Having control of mid is like these 2. These control this square, that square, and that square. Controls 4 squares, just 2 pawns. Which is kind of cool. So, you want to avoid the opponent of getting mid. But there is a specific structure, let's say for black. I've seen other people do this, but okay. Like they can move this up and then attacking mid. if they exchange, they can have control of mid again and have an extra pawn protecting them. But if they exchange, they have the same amount of middle, and they'll have an extra pawn that controls more. So if you want to avoid that, you want to use your horse to protect the pawn. So the horse, sometimes you don't want your queen, like when you exchange, you don't want your queen to kill it because it puts it in a bad position. Or sometimes not your horse to kill it. Sometimes horses protect multiple pieces, or a family fort, or family protection. Some of the, if you're new to chess, the pawn structure I want you to focus on while trying to like be a bot or go against your family is moving e4, and then if they like do this, preventing this pawn from going there, you want to give it support with this, like that, and then it can still control it. That's the basic pawn structure I want you to focus on. So. Now, here is the last part. It does not need any pieces or something. Now, time for the rules. Okay, so when you like threaten the king in any way with a bishop, a horse, a rook, a pawn, or anything else, you always have to say check. But in tournaments, some tournaments you don't have to say check. And what else? Okay, now here's the last part, finally. So there's a few ranks that people have. There's beginner, intermediate, advanced, expert, grandmaster, and super grandmaster. But there's ones like Komodo, Blitz, grandmaster, advanced, intermediate, and beginner. So yeah, those are all the ranks. Now we're going to introduce the chess pieces in Chinese. We're going to introduce pawn, horse, queen, king, bishop, and rook. First, let's start off with horse. First, we'll start off with the horse, ma, or you can call it knight.
好，我们来看一下。
Horse designed.
Okay. The second one 呢
King. Yang, Wang.
国王
Guowan. King Guowan. King Guowan.
好来
Bishop. Bishop 象 Pawn 兵
士兵是吗
Rook 车 Queen
皇后
王后 Chess 象棋 Total 32 pieces. One set 16 pieces. Both sets 32 pieces.
一共有32个那个
64 squares. 8 by 8. Counted by y axis.
棋盘有64个
X
是不是
axis, y axis. Done. Now, I hope you like and subscribe and learned a lot from this video. Bye!